Have you noticed that dating feels harder now, even though we know who we are and we know what we want? Why does it all seem like such a frustrating mess sometimes? You sign up for a few dating sites, maybe join some online groups, and soon you realize that on those sites, the packaging is far more important than the contents. Unless you look like a model, and most of us don't, you're not going to get a lot of matches. Today, I'm going to break it down, examine the frustrations and pitfalls, try to understand it all a little bit better, and maybe look at how we can make dating and finding a partner work for us. Stick around to the end because I'm going to give you some pointers on appropriate places to meet new people. Hi there, and welcome. I'm here to discuss the issues we share in our 50s and 60s and beyond. My name is Bob, and I'm the crusty creator. Okay, so you find yourself single again after a loss or a divorce or some other bad luck or bad circumstance. You've appropriately grieved your previous partner, and while you may have some precious memories, you're now ready to put yourself out there. You think it's time to maybe test the dating waters. Well, you'll find out pretty quickly that it's not as easy as it was back then. We're not 25 anymore. And so we can't go about finding a partner the same way as we did back in the day. It's an alien world now. When we were 25 and younger, superficial things like a pretty face or a fit body or even a flashy car were often enough to attract a partner. But what about now? Now that our eyes and other things have begun to sag a little bit, and now that our waistlines and our hairlines have moved far away from where they used to be. You often hear people saying that the dating pool is awful. It is smaller for sure, for numerous reasons. But it's not awful, it's just different. In our 20s, we were still experimenting with life, our choices, our jobs, and we were motivated in our dating by looks and fashion and social status and even the cars we drove. And yes, we were driven by biology as well. Now we're a fully formed adult. We have much more life experience and much more knowledge of ourselves and our needs. That means that we don't pretend anymore, and we're certainly less likely to tolerate nonsense and those other things that we don't want in our lives. People have different expectations now, and it's due both to the times we live in and the stages of our lives that we now occupy. People in late middle age and older are carrying much more weight than a 20-something does. That could be ex-spouses, financial baggage, family responsibility, or any other emotional scars or trauma that we may have picked up over the years. And many are really worried about risking their assets on a new relationship. People don't always tell you what their baggage is, but they will show that they have it. In emotional distance, bitterness, blame, hypersensitivity to certain things, and an unwillingness to compromise. But don't fool yourself. We all have baggage and scars. They aren't just some psychological manifestation. They're the result of lived history that cannot be undone. Those scars don't just go away. We simply learn how to manage them, and some are better at that than others. Sometimes it takes a little while for a new person in our lives to learn our emotionally sensitive spots and how to navigate them. How willing they are to learn and how patient we are with them as they do will vary. Stepping on landmines is never fun for either party. So what works? First, let's be clear in ourselves about what we really want. And don't just say someone nice, because that's a cop-out. Define what you really want in a relationship. Do you want them to be settled and at peace, or always looking for excitement? Do you want a permanent live-in partner or independence? Do you want someone who's social or a homebody? Do you want somebody who's extremely outdoorsy and active, or are you okay with a quiet gamer or TV watcher? Second, stop trying to impress people. Nobody cares about your resume or what you were back in the day. Your accomplishments might come up in conversation over time, but they're not the basis of whether someone's going to want to spend time with you or not. What people are really concerned with are the things like how you make them feel. Are you enjoyable and easy to be around? Do you make them laugh? Do they feel safe around you? Do you bring value to their life? And by that, I don't mean money. I mean whether their life is better with you in it or not. Third, if you're using the apps, move the conversation from being a pen pals arrangement to actually meeting the other person. And the sooner the better. And while we're on that topic, coffee or a walk is a perfectly acceptable meetup activity. And don't let anybody tell you anything else. That alone could be the test. Meet somewhere public. Go in separate vehicles in case one of you wants to make a quick exit. Change your mindset. Stop asking yourself whether they like you. It's not your job to change yourself to impress someone else. Instead, ask, do I like them? How do I feel around them? Am I happy and relaxed? Or do they make me uncomfortable? Or do I feel judged? Or do I feel energized? If that other person inspires you to try new things or to rediscover parts of you that you'd lost, that's a good thing. But it's not a good thing if you feel like you have to completely change your life to be compatible with that other person. And finally, as promised, where to actually meet people. First, here's something about where not to go. Over 50 years old, you're too old to be hanging around the clubs. And since most clubs cater to the under 30 crowd, that's pretty fair. That's not to say an older person can't go to a music venue to see the entertainment, especially if you like the artist that's performing. But going to a young person's club to find love, and somebody's got to say it, that's pretty pitiful. Just don't do it. No. The gym is also not recommended. People do not like being approached while they're working out. You'll likely get asked to leave or maybe even lose your membership. We've already mentioned the apps, and there are some that are tailored specifically to people over 50. My personal feeling is that the apps make me feel like a bit of food at a buffet, to be picked over, to be taken or left behind, based merely on a couple of photographs. That may work for you, doesn't work for me. There are Facebook groups made up of singles in a given area, and some are specific to an age group. And in those groups, you can often participate in discussions and get a wee bit of a feel for what the other people are like and whether or not you may be interested in meeting someone from that group. There may be group rules about sending direct messages, though. So make sure you check on that before you just DM somebody. I'm more of a fan of meeting people organically, like in the old days. So I'd recommend going to where people who have similar interests to your own tend to congregate. That way, you'll know that at least some level of compatibility exists. So I'd suggest places like live music events, outdoor music festivals, community events, church social events if you're a churchgoer, classes you might be interested in, volunteering for an event or to a cause, joining groups directly dedicated to your interests. Here are some other thoughts. Could you meet somebody in a store or when you're walking down the street? Maybe. A short, friendly comment about something trivial or obvious or funny might start a very light, surface-level conversation, but it also might get a different reaction. Or it might not get any reaction at all. Don't push it. People sometimes just don't want to be bothered. And although it seems old-fashioned, your circle of friends might want you to attend an event with them. And they might also be able to introduce you to someone they know who may be perfect for you. In closing, at our age, we're not looking for something superficial. We need something deeper. Yes, physical attractiveness is necessary to some extent, but remember, looks fade over time. I know as I've grown older, where I see that attractiveness is in more subtle things than when I was 25. I see beauty in the shape of her eyes, the sound of her voice, the way she smiles. Yes, it sounds sappy, but that's who I am. Dating over 50 is about finding someone who complements our lives. It's about respect, joy, comfort, and enjoying being together. Those are all far deeper things than we searched for when we were 25. And you know what? Those are also the things that tend to last longest. Are you over 50 and trying to navigate dating? What's your biggest surprise or your biggest frustration? Drop a comment down below and let me know how it's going. But as always, let's keep it civil and respectful. And if you like my content, let me know by hitting the like and subscribe. It's free, and it would really help me on my way. Maybe even ring the little bell so you can tell when I've released a new video. Oh, and there's a link to buy me a coffee down below if you're so inclined. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.